One of the concerns that people who provide courses, memberships, or even coaching have is the idea that they've sold a service to somebody and then that's being abused. In other words, they're sharing their access with multiple people. So the question that we want to answer today is, how can you protect your content so that only the people that are supposed to have access get access to it? And that's what we'll look at. Hi, my name is William Beam with Suburbia Press. I am a small business person just like you. Today, we're going to take a look inside of Wishlist Member to show a very simple technique that you can use to help eliminate the possibility of someone sharing their login with multiple people who have not paid you for the service that you're providing. So let's go ahead and take a look inside. There are a couple of places where we can make these changes to limit access. And let me show you first the global one. We're going to come in here. We're on the Wishlist Member dashboard. We're going to go down to Advanced Options. Once we're there, we're going to go into Logins. And this is something you want to look at, the default login limit. So you can see right here that this is the default number of times a user can log in from different IP addresses in a single day. Now, it defaults to 7. The idea is that people may use different computers or tablets or phones to access their course or membership or whatever it is that you're protecting. So you can say that maybe they've got a laptop, a desktop, they've got an iPad, a mobile phone. Maybe they are also accessing something at work. 7 is, I think, a very generous limit for daily use on your course. And you can change this to how many different IP addresses they can have per day. If they're sharing their login, maybe on some other site, maybe it's been compromised and they don't even know it, and multiple people are getting access to your course for free, you could have dozens, you could have hundreds of people who are accessing your course. This is how you prevent that from happening. If you limit the number of IP addresses on a daily basis who can access your course or your site, that's how you can protect your information. So over here, as I said, under Advanced Options and Logins, you'll see a global default for 7. Now, you can also do this on a per subscriber, per member basis. We'll come over here to Members, and we'll look at this one from one of my accounts. So I'm going to go over here to Advanced. And down here, we have a setting for global default. IP tracking is turned off. Well, if IP tracking is turned off, then you don't know how many times that somebody else is coming in and using your site. So I can come over here to say, make sure this is enabled. And now I can have this particular person limited to how many people, or excuse me, I can have this section limited to how many IP addresses that this particular user can have per day. So that's an option on a per user basis or per member basis. So what about that global default? So we're still here on Members. We've come back and we're on the Manage tab. If we come down here to Data Privacy, you will see the options here. And this one, IP address tracking. You can disable IP address tracking if this is not a concern for you. In some cases, I would recommend disabling IP address tracking because I don't want to keep any more information than is necessary to manage my site. Every bit of personally identifiable information is something that you have to think about. Do I need this? Do I want to use it? Well, in this case, if you want to limit how often they can sign in, I would say turn this off. And if you had it turned on, you could purge the data over here. In order to make sure that you know how many IP addresses there are per user, you have to track it. And so that's why I would say make sure that this is disabled, and then you can go back to your member settings or your global settings. So if we go back up here to Manage, and we'll come over here to WBeam and Advanced. So now the global default is enabled, and then you can put in a limitation over here. So if you come into a particular user and you see global default disabled, it's because under data privacy, you have that setting to not track IP addresses. So this is a reason why you do want to track IP addresses. You can limit the number of times that somebody logs into your site from a given number of IP addresses. So I would say for the most part, under Advanced Options, and then come over here to Logins, you can set this, and this is site-wide. If you set it to 0, it's disabled. People can log in from as many IP addresses as they want. If you have this set to 7 and the other option is disabling IP tracking, then you're probably not getting the service that you want. And that is something that you can remember, that you can limit it for individuals or you can limit it globally. I would probably prefer to limit it globally because I don't see a reason why anybody would need to log in from 100 IP addresses in a given day. So I think 7 is very generous, and you may have somebody who shared their account and then there's a couple of people are logging in. You can look at that, and if you see this on a case-by-case basis, maybe you want to lower your default, or maybe you just want to go to that user that seems to be hitting their peak every day and give them a members limitation. So those are your options. Now, keep in mind, this is part of the core of Wishlist Member. It is not necessarily something you need for courses, points, or badges. That means it'll protect whatever you want to protect. So if you're using the course add-ons, it'll protect that. If you're using a different learning management system like LearnDash, Lifter LMS, Tutor LMS, or a number of the other ones that integrate with this, it'll work on that. Also, it'll protect your protected posts and pages by IP address. So I hope that is helpful to you. That way you know that you can kind of limit who's getting access to accounts on your Wishlist Member enabled WordPress site. So if you're doing courses, memberships, coaching, this is the way that you keep things limited. So only the people that you want are getting access. Thank you so much. I appreciate the fact that this came up as a question in the comments on another video. If you have a question or a comment, please let me know below. Maybe there's something else about Wishlist Member or any of the other products that I cover that I can help you out with. I'll be happy to come up with a video to show how it works. If you like this video, please go ahead, click the like button. That tells the YouTube overlords that I did something right. They'll share it with more people. Subscribe, you'll get more content like this for small business tools. And click the bell notification if you want to be notified the next time I put a video out. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.